Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi, SOTAH Lamed Beis. We begin a brand new perek, Elu Ne'emarin. Says the Mishnah, Elu Ne'emarin b'chol lashon. The following can be said in any language, not only in Lashon HaKodesh, but in any language that one chooses. Now Tosfos has a girsa. Instead of Elu Ne'emarin b'chol lashon, his girsa is Ne'emarin b'lashonom. And Tosfos explains, it needs to be a language which you understand. So if your language is English and you are going to read it in French, which you don't understand, you cannot be Yotze. And that's why he has a Gersa b'lashonom. You can say it in your personal language, the language which you speak and understand. Okay, so the Mishnah says, Elu Ne'emarin b'chol lashon. The following can be said not only in the original language, Lashon HaKodesh, but in any language. Parsha SOTAH. Oh, our topic. So the whole discussion between the Kohen and the Isha, explaining to her what's happening, imposing the Shvuah, her acceptance of the Shvuah, any language is acceptable. Uvidui Meiser. So this is twice in 7 years. A fellow gets up and says to Hashem, he acknowledges, look, I addressed all my Truma and Ma'aser obligations. So there's a special nusach in the pasuk that you say any language is fine. Kriyas Shema, one may read Kriyas Shema in any language, utfila and davening. Tefillah can be done in any language. Now the Mishnah Berurah brings that, of course, in a communal tzibur setting, it is a mitzvah min hamufchar to daven in Lashon Kodesh and in private as well. The Chasam Sofer has a chiddush. This was to, stem the tide of the reform. He has a chiddush that when the Mishnah allows tefillah b'chol lashon, it's only be'akroi, he says, on occasion. But one may not establish it as a set, permanent, system in the shul. One may not daven, whether in shul or in private, on a regular basis in another language. Chasam Sofer. Okay, so the following in any language: Parsha SOTAH, Vidui Maaseh, Kriyas Shema, Tefillah, Uberachas HaMazon. Any language is fine. Ushvos HaEdus. So a fellow is confronted by this person who wants him to say, he wants him to testify on his behalf in the Bezdin, and he refuses. He denies that he has the ability to testify on his behalf. He makes a shvuah in that regard, and there's a whole parsha. What happens if it turns out that it's false? That shvuah, any language works. Ushvos hapikadon, a person denies to having accepted a deposit, so that shvuah can be said in any lashon. Continues the Mishnah, but we have others where they must be said in Lashon HaKodesh. Ve'elu ne'emarin b'Lashon HaKodesh. The following must be recited in the original language in Lashon HaKodesh. Mikra bikurim, when a fellow brings his bikurim, his first fruit to the Beis HaMikdash, he gets up and he speaks about Hashem's kindness, etc. That has to be done in Lashon Kodesh as per the psukim in the Chumash. What else? The Chalitza, the whole back and forth discussion between the Yevama and the Bezdin has to be done in Lashon HaKodesh. Brachos v'klolos, the blessings and curses which were presented by the Leviim upon entering Eretz Yisrael for the first time. This was by the Har Gerizim and Har Evel in Lashon HaKodesh Davka. Birchas Kohanim, only Lashon HaKodesh. Birchas Kohen Gadol, which was something he would do on Yom Kippur. When he would do the Kriyas HaTorah, he would say brachos, 8 in total. They have to be in Lashon HaKodesh. Uparshas HaMelech, this was Hakel. So once in 7 years after Shemitah, king would get up in the Beis HaMikdash and recite vital portions of the Torah to inspire, to motivate the nation in Lashon HaKodesh only. Uparshas Egla Rufa. So they find a person dead on the road, killer unknown. They bring a calf whose head is incapacitated, and they have a whole process, a whole ceremony and they say psukim. So that has to be done in Lashon HaKodesh. You have the Kohen who was anointed for the purpose of leading and preparing the nation to war. So he would make his announcements in Lashon HaKodesh. So we have two parts to the Mishnah. Some can be said b'chal lashon, such as Parshat SOTAH, etc., and some require strictly Lashon HaKodesh, Mikra Bikurim, etc., etc. Oh, how do we know this? Mikra Bikurim Ketzad. How do we know that the recital upon bringing Bikurim must be said in Lashon HaKodesh? Because the pasuk says V'onisa v'amarta, you should respond and call out L'fnei Hashem Elokecha. So we have the Lashon V'onisa, responding, Aniyah. Ulahalanu Omer, and elsewhere, this was by the brachos and klolis. We have V'anu halavim v'amru. They responded V'anu. So we have a similar word, V'anisa, V'anu, right? So we connect the two through Gzera Shava. Malahalan Lashon HaKodesh, just like by the Levim it was strictly in Lashon HaKodesh, as the Gemara will explain for us. Afkam Lashon HaKodesh, the same with Mikra Bikurim in Lashon HaKodesh. What about Chalitza Ketzad? How do we know that it's in Lashon HaKodesh? V'ansa v'amra, the Yivama responds. Ulahalanu Omer, and elsewhere we have the Lashon V'anu v'amru. We connect V'ansa to V'anu halavim v'amru, and we say Malahalan b'Lashon HaKodesh, just as there it's in Lashon HaKodesh, Afkan, b'Lashon HaKodesh, Chalitza as well requires Lashon HaKodesh. That is the source according to Tanakama. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, we have another source. V'ansa v'amra, she responds by saying Kocha, as such, as per the script. Asher toimar b'Lashon Hazeh, strictly in Lashon HaKodesh. Brachos v'klolis Ketzad. So we learned Bikurim and Chalitza from the Brachos v'klolis, which were to take place in Lashon HaKodesh. But how do we know, in fact, that they were in Lashon HaKodesh? How does actually the Gemara will explain the reason how we know it's Lashon HaKodesh, but the Mishnah now will just tell us the description of events. How did that come about? What happened there? Kivan she'avru Yisrael Sayarden. As soon as Klal Yisrael crossed over the Jordan into Eretz Yisrael, Ubo el Har Grizim el Har Evel, they traveled to the two mountains near Shechem. One is Har Grizim, one Har Evel. Shebet Shemron, in the area called Shemron. Shebet Tzad Shechem, alongside Shechem. Travel to Shechem today, you still see it. One mountain is Har Grizim, one Har Evel. And to some it appears that the Har Grizim is more green than the Har Evel, because Har Grizim was the mountain that identified with the brachos, and Har Evel was the klolis, so perhaps that was the effect. In any case, location is Shemron, near Shechem, Shebe'ezel Elonei Moire, near a place called Elonei Moire. How do we know that? It was near Elonei Moire. Shenemar, the pasuk where we describe what happens, Halayim Be'ver Yarden. So they go to the area there in Ever Yarden, Mul HaGilgal, Eita Elonei Moire. So the pasuk concludes with the words Elonei Moire. And we have the Lashon Eloin Moire elsewhere as well. And by Avram we have Avram ba'aretz ad Mekom Shechem ad Eloin Moire. So we make that connection. Ma Eloin Moire ha'amar lahalon Shechem, just like by Avram, Eloin Moire was near Shechem. Af Eloin Moire amar kan. Likewise, the Lashon Eloin Moire over here by the brachos v'klolos ha'amar kan is related to the area called Shechem. Okay, so how did this happen? Shisha Shvatim Olu L'Rosh Har Grizim. 6 tribes climbed up to Har Grizim. V'Shisha Shvatim Olu L'Rosh Har Evel, and the remaining 6 went to Har Evel. V'Kahanim Alavim V'Oren. Omdim L'Mata B'Emtza. You have the Oren containing the Luchos. The Kehanim and Levim stationed in the sort of valley between the mountains. HaKehanim Mekivan Asa Oren. So you have the Oren surrounded by the Kehanim. That was the first ring. The second ring were the Kehanim Levim around the Kehanim. V'chol Yisrael, and the rest of Klal Yisrael, Mekan was standing on either side amongst the mountains. Shenemar v'chol Yisrael Zakena v'shoytav v'shoytav. Everybody, Oimdim Mizeu Mizel Oren, on both sides of the Oren, on both mountains. Okay, they're ready to start. Hafcha Paneim El Klabi Har Grizim. So Rashi explains, Hafcha means the Levim who are in charge of calling out the brachos and klolos to ensure compliance with the Torah. They start by facing Har Grizim. Upaschu b'bracha, and they begin by calling out a blessing. Baruch ha'ish asher lo ya'aseh pesel masecha. Blessed is the person who refrains from making idols. And everybody, upon hearing this bracha, responds with a thundering amen. Ve'elu ve'elu oinin amen. On the Yidden on both sides, on both mountains, respond by acknowledging with amen. Okay, they said a bracha. Now they're ready to present the flip side of that bracha, which is a klala upon transgressing that avera. Havchu pneim klapi haravel. So now the Levim turn to haravel. Upaschu beklala and put forth their curse. Arur ha'ish asher yaseh pesel masecha. Curse is the person who engages in idol worship. And once again, everybody responds, ve'elu ve'elu oinin amen. So this was the first topic until they went through the whole checklist, Asher Goimrin, Brachas Uklolos, back and forth, Bracha Klola, discussing all the topics mentioned in the Torah. Once they were done, so they had their stones that they had transported with them from within the Jordan River. So they took those stones, Ubonu as a mizbeach, they built a mizbeach, upon which they brought karbonis, v'sodu b'sid, then they smeared it with sort of lime paint to form a background to enable writing the words of the Torah on those stones, and this is all described in the Psukim and Dvarim. Because for all of us, called Divrei Torah b'shivim lashon, he wrote the entire Torah in 70 languages, Shenemar Bayer Hetev, fully explained. Right? So it denotes all 70 languages. And then when they were done, Notlus Avanim, they picked up the stones, Ubo, Velonu, Bimkaiman, and they went back to the place called Gilgal, where they were staying. Okay, so the Mishnah starts with a list of items that can be said in any language. First of which is Parsha Sotah. The question is, Parsha Sotah Manila, how do we know? Any language is legal. The Chsiv, the Pasuk says, Va'amar HaKoyin, and Rashi's Girsa is, Va'amar HaKoyin El Ha'isha. Now, the Pasuk already seems to be speaking about the Kohen speaking to the Isha. Why do we need that, El Ha'isha? To tell us, B'chaloshen Shu Eimer. He could speak any language. The point is, she should understand. It should be internalized by the Isha. She has to have full understanding of what he's saying. That's what counts. Any language is fine. Now, what would he tell her? Tan Rabban. Mashmi'in Isa. So they would explain and educate her and inform her about what's going on. B'chaloshen Shishamaz. Any language that she understands is fine. Al-Mahi Shoisa. So what are the items discussed? Al-Mahi Shoisa. Why is she coming to this point of drinking? Inappropriate conduct. She has to know that. She has to understand. Everybody around her should be cognizant of what leads to this type of downfall. Uba-Mehi Shoisa. He also highlights the fact that she's going to be drinking in this lowly earthenware, pottery type of kli, which reflects her misconduct. Alma nitmes. Uba mehi nitmes. Alma nitmes means what brought about this improper behavior, frivolity, etc. Uba mehi nitmes. What are the exact, circumstances of the sin? Meaning, you should know that the water will only hit you if you were really negligent, if it was a willful sin as opposed to something, an accident, etc. So they present her with the entire package, what's going on, where's she coming from, where's it headed to, so that she's fully educated, fully understands what she's up against. And the Gemara explains, Amai Shoisa, why is she drinking? Well, because she was warned and she went into seclusion. What kli is she using? It's cheres kli. Amanitmes. What's the cause for this tumah? This case, schoik v'yaldus, immaturity, frivolity. Ubameh nitmes. What about the circumstances? B'shogig b'mezid. He asks her, well, was it a mistake? Was it a willful misconduct? Bo'ines b'rotzen. Was it an oines, an accident? Or was it something that she was aware of? So bottom line is, we have to know exactly what the circumstances were. Why? Why is it so important to tell all the halachas? It's only going to affect you if you're really a sinner, but mazid. Well, what's the point of just give it a try and see if it works? The answer is like this. You see, if she was unaware of the ramifications of her misconduct, was a shaygig. She thought her husband passed away. If it's not considered a real mezid, then even if she drinks the water, she'll walk away safe and sound, and everybody will start asking questions, and she'll ask questions. She'll say, this is not working. So therefore, we inform her in advance. Look, it only works under certain circumstances. If you're really guilty in this way, we won't have any question marks afterwards. Vidui maser. So the vidui maser is in lashon, any lashon. Minol, how do we know? You get up and you tell, present to Hashem everything you did to address your obligations of truma and maser. So we have the lashon ve'amarta, ve'yolav amira misoita, and we connect it to soita, where we have the lashon ve'amar as well, right? Ve'amar kain la'isha. And we say, b'chal lashon shu omer, any language they can speak is fine as long as he understands it. Amalei Rav Zvid Labai. Why do you choose to connect it to soita and give him that blank check? V'leilaf amira milevim. Why don't we connect it to the levim? We also find the lashon amira there, and we'll say, well, let's limit it to lashon hakodesh. Ma'alahalim lashon hakodesh, just like the levim by the brachas and klolis was limited to lashon hakodesh, as we explained before. Af kan b'lashon hakodesh. Here as well by vidui maser lashon hakodesh only. Answer: Don namira greidasa. We prefer connecting the phrase, the lashon amira, which stands on its own without any other lashon next to it. We prefer to connect that and learn that from me'amira, from another place where we have amira greidasa on its own, which is basically vidui maser from soita, as opposed to the levim, where although we have lashon amira va'amru, but it's together with va'anu va'amru. We won't learn the definition of the word amira on its own. Me'aniya v'amira, from the levim where we have amira, but it's together with aniya. So perhaps that changes the definition, and therefore it's an unfair match. So instead of going to the levim, we go to soita, and we allow any language. Tanya, Rabbi Shimon Yechai Omer, Adam Omer Shvacha B'Kol Namuch. A person is meant to present his praise, express his shvach in a soft voice, and keep it under wraps. Ugnusa B'Kol Ram. But to speak about his own personal shortfalls, loud and clear as can be, advertise that. How do we know this? Shvacha B'Kol Namuch. A person's shvach should be expressed in a humble fashion, a soft tone, without publicizing. How do we know that? Min vidui maser, from the halacha vidui hamaser. Why? Because by vidui maser, he's actually sort of patting himself on the back. He's telling Hashem, look, I did everything I was supposed to. I looked after all my chiyuvim. And Rashi says, we don't find a lashon aniya, like va'anu, which denotes loudness and the public spectacle. So we keep the volume down, because it's shvach. It's something praiseworthy and positive about the person. So he speaks it in a low voice. Ugenusay, in contrast to the gnus, one's shortfalls and shortcomings, b'kol ram, that you say loud. How do we know that? Mimikra bikurim, from the recital of Mikra Bikurim, where he's speaking about not necessarily the most praiseworthy and positive things. He speaks about the fact that we come from Lavan, great-great-grandfather, and he was a Rasha, etc. So that's said in a loud tone, as opposed to when a person is praising himself. How do we know it's a koil ram? Because it says vanisa v'amarta, right? So we have the lashon aniya, which is b'koil ram, loud. Says the Gemara, really? Ugnusa b'koil ram? One's gnus should be expressed publicly like that. Not necessarily. Tiknu tefillah b'lachash. Why is it that the Chachamim instituted that Tefillah Shmoneh Esrei is recited quietly? You know why? We don't want to embarrass the sinners. We give them the opportunity to express themselves personally to Hashem without fanfare. We see how Hashem and the Torah are so caring and sensitive to protect even a sinner and allow him to save face. We don't find that the Torah assigns different areas in the Beis HaMikdash for bringing a chatas, bringing an oila. Both are shechted in the same place, on the north side of the Azara and the Tzafin, in order to keep it hidden and discreet. Right? We don't differentiate between an oila, which is a gift, and a chatas, which is brought on account of a chet. So why are we saying that a person should seek to publicize his wrongdoings? So as the Gemara, you're right. Let's reword that statement. One's gnus, one's shortfalls, keep it quiet. Rather, we're speaking about a person's discomfort and pain. So the tsaris that we're speaking about, says Rashi, look what Lavan did to us. Well, look what we did in Mitzrayim, all the hardships and tsaris that we went through. That we're saying out loud. Kedesanya, as we learned in Brisa, v'tamei tamei yikra. This is speaking about a mitzvah. The pasuk says v'tamei tamei yikra, and we learn from here, tzorech loidia tzari l'rabim. One is meant to inform the public if he's going through a hard time. Why? V'rabim mevakshim olav rachmim. This enables the community to daven on his behalf. Perhaps he needs a schus of rabbim. So this mitzvah should call out, Rabbi Yisai, look, I'm experiencing tzaras. Please help me, daven for me. Likewise, any other person who's experiencing hardship, he should inform others to allow everybody to daven for him. So shvach, praise, patting yourself on the back, do it quietly. When it comes to hardship and tsar, like speaking about atzaris and whether it's communal hardships or personal hardships, chas v'shalom, get everybody involved, and the schus harabim will prevail. Gufa Rabbi Yechanan, Mishum Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Let's go back to that lesson taught to us by Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai. Ipnei ma tiknu tefillah b'lachash. Why, in fact, do we daven softly? To save the sinners from embarrassment, so they don't need to express their tshuva and everything in public. Because we find that echatas and oila are brought in the same place to avoid embarrassment. Really, v'loy? There's no distinction between the two. There is a difference in terms of where to place the blood of the carbon. Dam chatas goes lamala, on the upper half of the mizbeach, v'dam oila lamata, and the dam of oila is on the bottom. So there's a clear demarcation, a visible demarcation. What happened to the concern about embarrassment? Says the Gemara, that's not really publicly visible. Hasam, that distinction is only known to the Kain. Kain who the other. When he's putting the dam, nobody's standing there watching him. So it's not really going to be a public spectacle. Says the Gemara, Ve'ikach chatas nekeva. But there's a fundamental difference. A chatas is a female animal, and everybody sees it different than a oila, which is a male. So that brings him shame. Either way, it's covered with a tail, nobody sees. Tenach kivsa, that works by a sheep, which is covered by a tail. Siro, what about a goat? Has no tail covering. Michael and Meimar. So what's going to be there? Answer is, here's his problem. Who asked him to bring a goat? If you want to save face, he could have brought a kivsa, a sheep, and saved himself from shame. Says the Gemara, what do you mean? He had the option of bringing a kivsa. He chose to bring a goat. It's his issue. What do you mean? Says the Gemara, what about the carbon that is brought upon serving idols? There you can't get away with a she-goat. That's the prescribed carbon. You have no choice there. Michael and Meimar, what happens there with the shame and embarrassment? The answer is yes. Hassam, in that case, you're right. Nichsav and Ezel. Let him get his dose of embarrassment, so that it has proper atonement for this great sin of Avedis Kechav. Okay, what else is in our list of B'chol Lashon? Kriya Shema. How do we know any language is legal? The Chsiv Shema Yisrael. Listen, hear, understand. Call Yisrael, what we're saying. That tells us b'chol lashon she'ata shemea, any language which you understand is fine. She'ata shemea means that you hear, that you understand. Hearing and understanding are very closely related. So here means something that you understand. Any language works. Tana Rabbanon. So we have a brayso where it's actually a machlekes Tanoim. And our Mishnah, which allows kol lashon by Kriya Shema is the Rabbanon, as opposed to Rebbe. Kriya Shema kiksava divid Rebbe. Rebbe holds Kriya Shema must be recited the way it's written in Lashon HaKodesh and no other language. V'chachamim no b'chol lashon, any language is acceptable. My time of the Rebbe, where is Rebbe coming from? Why do we insist on Lashon HaKodesh? Amakra v'hayu hadvarim me'ela al levavech. V'hayu means b'haviyasin you, it must be intact as written in Lashon Kodesh. For Rabbanon respond, Amakra, the pasuk says Shema, right? Shema Yisrael, b'chol lashon she'ata shemei, any language is fine. Says the Gemara, Rabbanon, what did Rabbanon do with Rebbe's pasuk? Rabbanon nami yaksiv v'hayu, which sounds like it must be as is. Hahu, the point of v'hayu is shaloi yikren al mafreya. They can't read it sort of out of order, one pasuk and then the previous pasuk, etc. So it must be done in order, but in any language. For Rebbe, now according to Rebbe, who already used v'hayu to limit it to Lashon Kodesh, shaloi yikren al mafreya minole, how does he know this halacha of no backwards? Nafkli, that he learns from midvarim hadvarim. It says v'hayu hadvarim. It could have said v'hayu devarim. The extra hey tells us not l'mafreya. V'Rabbanon, what did Rabbanon do with the hey? Devarim hadvarim. The difference between dvarim and hadvarim, mashmalu. They don't focus on the extra hey. Asks the Gemara, 1 second now. V'Rebbe, what about Shitas Rebbe? Nami hoksiv Shema. What does Rebbe do with Shema, which indicates that any language is acceptable? The answer is Homi Baile. That's applied for the following halacha. La Ashmiya la Oznacha. To tell you that when you read Shema, you have to actually hear what you're speaking about. So the words that you're saying must be audible to your ears. That's what Shema means. V'Rabbanan, but the Rabbanan already use the word Shema to teach us any language. So it's unavailable for this halacha. What do? They hold like the other shita. Audibility is not required. Hakara Shema v'lo yishmei la'ozna. You read Shema without even hearing it. Yotza, that's also fine. So bottom line, Rebbe insists on Lashon HaKodesh because v'hayu tells you the way it is, the way it's written. And the Rabbanon say, any language is fine. Shema Yisrael b'chol lashon she'ata shemea. Says the Gemara. There's a machlekes Tanoim and Mesachas Megillah whether one can write a Sefer Torah in other languages. Leima kasava Rebbe, perhaps Rebbe holds, kol ha-Torah b'chol lashon ne'emra. The rest of the Torah must be written and read in the Beis HaKnesses. Can be written and read in Beis HaKnesses in any language. You can write a Sefer Torah in English and read it that way. Why? Because if you'll tell me that Lashon HaKodesh is required for the rest of the Torah, so why does the pasuk have to tell us that Shema must be in Lashon HaKodesh? The way it is. The rest of the Torah is already in Lashon HaKodesh. So it seems that according to Rebbe, the rest of Torah can be in any language. Comes Bahayu and tells you, well, Krishma is different. You need Lashon HaKodesh. Is that a true raya? No. Perhaps the rest of Torah is dafka in Lashon HaKodesh. Itzrich, but we still need the Bahayu to highlight that Krishma is in Lashon HaKodesh. Shema, because we have the other pasuk, Shema, the pasuk used by the Chachamim, which perhaps would indicate that any Lashon is okay by Kriya Shema. Perhaps Kriya Shema is an exception to the rule. Any Lashon is okay, that's why we need sort of a counterbalance pasuk, Bahayu, to tell you, no, it's not okay any language. Lashon HaKodesh Gafka. Now says the Gemara, on the other side of the equation, perhaps the Rabbanon who need a pasuk v'shma to allow any language in Kriya Shema, they hold Kol HaTorah Kula b'Lashon HaKodesh Nemra. The rest of the Torah must be written and read in Lashon Kodesh, and that's why we need a special pasuk to make that exception by Kriya Shema, because if the rest of the Torah is okay in any language, Shema the Kos Rachman Lamli, why would the pasuk have to highlight Shema, Kriya Shema, as being okay in any language? That's the halacha for the entire Torah. Why do you have to point out that Kriya Shema is okay in another language? Says the Gemara, no. Perhaps Kol Torah is in any lashon. Why do we need a special pasuk for Krishma? Istrich. We need it because we have the other pasuk v'hayu, Rebbe's pasuk, which would perhaps indicate you need to be exactly this way. In the original language, Tosha says that it's pashat that a Torah was given to Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai in Lashon HaKodesh. So perhaps v'hayu tells you dafka Lashon HaKodesh. That's why Shema comes along and says no, any language. But perhaps really the whole Torah can be done in any language as well. Okay, let's recap today's daf. We have some things which can be said in any language, such as Parshas SOTAH, because V'amarta, V'amar Elisha tells you it has to be something nichnasim belibo, as Rashi says, that she understands. Any language that she understands is fine. Same thing with Vidi Meiser, which is learned from SOTAH, as opposed to a whole long list of other halachas, other recitals, which must be in Rosh HaKodesh, Mikra Bikurim, etc., etc. Brachas v'klolos. The Mishnah gave us a whole description of the brachas and klolos event. We learned how caring Hashem is to spare a sinner from embarrassment. We concluded with the machlekes. Can Krishma be said in any language? According to Rebbe, no. According to Rabbanan, yes, as per our Mishnah. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.